Hey there, welcome. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Violet, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some adorable bohemian style nursery decor ideas with items hopefully you already have in your craft stash. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, please help my channel grow by giving me a big thumbs up and sharing with friends and family. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe and also click on that bell button so you can be notified every time I post a new video. So today, like I said, we're going to be doing some bohemian DIY craft style decors. And what we're going to use first are two of these pots from Dollar Tree. They're the ceramic pots, but they're the larger ones. I know they also have some smaller ones as well, and you can use the smaller ones if you'd like. I decided to go ahead and paint mine like a forest green, and I'll leave the paint color from Apple Barrel that I used down below in the description box with all the rest of the items that I use as well. So all I did again was just paint my ceramic, and I painted the entire outside of the ceramic. You can also paint the interior if you like, depending on what you're going to place on inside this ceramic pot, because you can just do it like what I did and just add some flowers or maybe some succulents, or you can even use it to add, little brushes and what have you, maybe some little ponytails or holder or something like that. So you can use it for quite a few different things. Go ahead and set your pot aside and allow it to dry. While it's drying, go ahead and grab some popsicle sticks. Now all you're going to use is some hot glue to attach your popsicle sticks to form a square. And then do the same process with 4 other popsicle sticks. So you're going to end up making 2 squares. Now I'm using this normal smaller size popsicle sticks. I know you can also purchase some larger ones through Amazon or even at Walmart. So basically it's up to you what size you want to make this, depending on also the pot that you want to place in it. So just go ahead and use what you have. I had these smaller ones. Now once you're done making your 2 squares with your popsicle sticks, grab 2 more popsicle sticks, add some hot glue to the ends, and then you're going to attach the squares to those small popsicle sticks, just like I am right here. Now you can also add a little dab of maybe some super glue or E6000 if you want this to be more sturdy, but once you wrap the rope around like I did, it'll be sturdy enough. So, but again, if you don't feel comfortable, go ahead and do that. Now grab 2 more popsicle sticks and do the same thing to the top of your what's going to be a square. Just like that. And then go ahead and allow that to dry for a few seconds. Then decide which side you want the top to be. Grab 2 more popsicle sticks. And then you're going to glue them inside, basically right at the end of the standing up popsicle stick. Just like that, if you can see that. So just kind of separate those 2 popsicle sticks where you glued them. So just go ahead and insert them like that, or you can measure it with your ceramic pot or whatever pot you choose and decide how far apart you want your interior popsicle sticks to be. So once you're completely done with that, you can go ahead and just make sure that it fits, which mine does. And then just remove that pot again, and then go ahead and stain or paint your square. Now I decided to go ahead and stain mine. If you don't have any stain at your home, just go ahead and use some light brown or dark brown paint and just dilute it with some water, and it'll work just like a stain will. So just go ahead and stain your entire square, and I even stained the interior of my square. So basically it's up to you. You could even paint this white, or depending on whatever decor, or if it's a girl or a boy that you want to give this to as a gift, what colors you want to use. Because I think this decor will match and look really cute in a boy's room or in a little girl's room, just depending on what you're going to add and into the flower pots as well. So once you've done that and you're stained it and allowed it to dry, go ahead and grab some jute twine. Now here is where it's going to be a little tricky for me to explain, so I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. So basically what I did was add a little bit of glue to the end of my jute twine, wrapped it around one of the points of my square or the ends of my square. So just go ahead and grab as much jute twine as you think you're going to need to wrap it around the square, and then you're just going to go ahead and glue it to the other end to make that square look like a triangle. So just from one end to the other in an angle, and then you're going to add some hot glue and wrap around the jute twine right here again. So you're going to basically wrap this around all your corners, but what I did was I simply wrapped it around in an angle on all my sides first. So just go ahead and continue doing this until you wrapped your jute twine one angle from one point to the other. You don't have to wrap it around the top of your square. So just remember that the top of your square is the one that has the 2 popsicle sticks in the interior, but you will go ahead and just do all the other corners and all the sides. So just keep wrapping it around and adding a little bit of hot glue. You can wrap it around a few times, even though you just added your hot glue, just to be on the safe side, which I decided to go ahead and do that as well. And then you just go back down from the top to the bottom in an angle. And if you do this correctly, you'll end up being able to use the jute twine to all your four sides and wrapping it around in an angle. And then you just, at the end, you tie a knot, add a little bit of glue, and then you're just going to continue this with your jute twine again until you end up with all your sides with one angle of the jute twine rope. Now once you're done with that, go ahead and grab your jute twine again, and what I did was tie the opposite side of the top of my square, if you see where I'm doing it, and then I just double knotted it, add a little bit of hot glue, unravel some of the jute twine, cut it off of my roll, and then I'm just going to wrap it around again to form that X in between each one of my squares. But instead of just adding the X, which you don't have to do the next step, which I am going to do, is add a bead into each one of my squares. So all I did was paint and stain my beads as well as I did the way I did my actual square or box itself. So here I am going to start my first square, and as you can see, I'm just forming that X from one corner to the other, and I'm going to continue doing this until I wrap them around my entire box. So just go ahead and wrap it around a few times, and I did wrap this one around more than just once because of that bead, and I wanted the jute twine to make sure that it stayed nice and secure where it should be and not get loose, because that bead is a little heavy. So just go ahead and do that, and then you add a little bit of hot glue to secure your jute twine before you start on your next square. And as you can see here, what I did was add a little bit of hot glue to the back of my bead just to attach it to the jute twine that's already in my square. So go ahead and then you just flip your box over and start on the other one. So what I did was I did 2 big beads and 2 little beads, and I just made sure I put them on opposite sides of each other. That way, basically when I was done, I wanted the big bead in the front and the back and the small beads from side to side, if that makes sense. Hopefully you'll be able to see it, but just go ahead and continue crossing it, adding your hot glue, wrapping around your jute twine a few times at each corner, just like that, and then make sure you add your glue to your bead to attach it to the back piece of jute twine that you already did. And it isn't hard at all. Hopefully you guys can see how easy this is, just depending on how many times you want to wrap it around and what you want to add in the center, because like I said, you don't have to add the bead if you don't have it. You can easily just maybe tie a knot and form that X that way. So just go ahead and do this again, wrapping it around at the corner, adding a little bit of hot glue, and then tying a knot until you're completely done with all your 4 sides of your square, or your box, I'm sorry. So just go ahead and do that, and then just remove any of the extra jute twine. And there you have it. So what I decided to do, since I made 2 of these, is I went ahead and I grabbed some little blocks that I had that you can also get at Dollar Tree. And I decided to add legs to one of my squares or my boxes. And I just made sure that it wasn't the top and it was the bottom. And I just added some hot glue and added those little square blocks to the back to add some legs to my actual decor itself. Then once I added those, I allowed it to dry, and then I stained them the same color I stained my popsicle sticks. Now you can add some E6000 again if you don't feel comfortable just using hot glue. So just go ahead and stain it and allow this to dry. And that's optional if you don't want it, and I'll show you how they both look together once I'm all done. And as always, when you do work with jute twine or any kind of rope, make sure you use a lighter just to lightly burn it, just so you can get all that fringe and hair off of your jute twine. So for our second project, you're going to go ahead and get a frame, any kind of frame that you have. This is a mirror frame from Dollar Tree that I spray painted white, and I already had it in my stash. Now I'm just getting some scrap paper that this is a book scrapping paper, and what I did was basically trace my frame around the paper and to form that circle, cut it out, and then I just glued it into the side of the frame. Now as you can see, this is the paper. I'm using the back side of the metallic style paper because this is all I had, but I wanted that sand brown color, so I went ahead and just flipped it over and used it that side. So go ahead and glue your paper, whatever you decide to or you have at home, and then add some hot glue to the back of your frame or your mirror that you came with, and there you go. You can hang it that way. Now after you're done with that, go ahead and grab any of these mirror stickers that are from Dollar Tree, and I'm using these succulent ones, and all I did was just pick one and add it to the center of my frame, and you have an adorable wall decor. Now remember, with these mirror stickers, there is like a protective sticker over it, so go ahead and remove that once you're completely done. Here I am doing the same thing, but this round isn't a frame, it's an actual frisbee from the toy department at Dollar Tree, and all I did was spray paint it. And typically these frisbees, they come in purple, if that gives you an idea, but these I already had spray painted, so unfortunately I can't show you how it looks, but it is a frisbee, and all I did was cut the same kind of paper, glued it onto my frisbee. Then I'm grabbing some jute twine, since this is very light, and I'm just going to add a little bit of jute twine in order for me to hang it. Now you can hang these or just lean them on a bookshelf or something like that, would be really cute. And then I'm just adding a little piece of that scrap paper as well over the jute twine, just to make sure it stays in place and it doesn't fall off. And there you have it. Now here on this one, since it's a little bit bigger, I decided to go ahead and use 2 of the succulent mirror stickers and just insert them and tape them, attach them to my paper into my frame. Now here I am showing you that to remember to remove that little sticker that comes over your mirror succulents or any mirror stickers that you get from Dollar Tree. They all have it. Just go ahead and remove that and then add it on. And these are very sticky, so you really don't need to add any hot glue or super glue or anything like that. I think they'll stay just fine with the stick that already has on it. And there you go. Very simple but very adorable pictures. So our third and final is one of my favorite ones that I've done so far, bohemian style. And what I'm going to do is use one of these round parts from, I think they're the knitting. I keep forgetting what they're called, but the knitting rings, but I believe that's what they're called. Just go ahead and I'm grabbing one, and I'm going to use some sharp scissors and just cut it in half. Now, as you notice, I cut in half where the opening stays at the top. So you just unscrew that opening and go ahead and pull it apart as far as you can without removing that screw. I'm also using one of these shower curtain rods, or I'm sorry, shower curtain rings from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to wrap some jute twine around the entire shower curtain ring. And that's a cute idea if you want to use those for your actual shower curtain. Just wrap jute twine around them and it gives it a completely different look. Once you're done and you've wrapped it around, what I did was just tie a knot and add a little bit of hot glue to the end, and then just cut off any extra jute twine that I had on my ring. And these are adorable. I say they're adorable for a nursery or a baby shower gift, but you can honestly use these in any room, just depending on where and when, how you want to style your room. Even the mobile you could use in a room. You can use it in a bathroom or even outdoors, and add maybe some Dollar Tree little metal rings as a wind chime, and it would be adorable as well. So here is my stash of beads. So I decided to go ahead and cut a few of these strings of jute twine, and I basically cut them about 12 inches in length. But this one that I'm actually tying onto my ring itself, which is what I'm going to use to hang my mobile, I doubled it. So I just made like a 24-inch cut of jute twine and just used double together and doubled it. That way it would be sturdy enough and it won't fall or anything like that. I would hate for you guys to think it would fall over a baby's crib or anything. So just go ahead and use the double strand of your jute twine. And as you can see, I added some hot glue to the both points of my jute twine in order for me to insert my beads. But before I decided to insert beads, I went ahead and decided to paint some of my beads the same color that I painted my ceramic pots, which is the green. And all I did was just add them to a skewer stick or a toothpick and just go ahead and paint each one of your beads. Now these beads, some of them are squared and some of them are round. They basically came like that from Dollar Tree, and I wasn't sure which ones I was going to use and how many, so I just decided to paint a few of all of them. So once you painted all your beads that you decide to use, go ahead and allow them to dry, and then you just start adding and decorating and adding them to your jute twine, as many as you like. So what I did was add a natural colored bead, then I added some green ones, then I painted some of the beads white, then I went ahead and added one of the larger ones as the green, hunter green as well. So you can play with these colors. You can use baby blue, you can use green, yellow, pink, purple, rainbow. I mean, that's where all your crafting ideas and your styles come to play. I'm just giving you an idea of how you can make these. So once you're done adding as many beads as you like to the very first or the hanging part of your mobile, just go ahead and tie a knot where you want your string to end. That way you'll know where to place it on your actual mobile itself. Now here's where I'm going to cut 5 more strands of the jute twine, and roughly they're about 18 to 12 inches in length. And I cut them a little bit longer than what I needed, just that way so I can have some extra to play with until I decide how long or how low I want the beads to hang from my mobile itself. So once you're done with that, go ahead and add some E6000 and a little bit of hot glue once you're done to each one of the corners of your wood piece or your mobile part. And then you're just going to wrap the jute twine around it and then tie a knot. And that way the E6000 and the hot glue hot glue will help and make sure that that jute twine rope stays in place and doesn't fall with the weight of the beads. And you just do that to all 4 sides, and the 5th side jute twine rope will be in the center. And I'll show you how I tie that center one once we'll get to that point. So just go ahead and add some E6000 and a little bit of hot glue. You just wrap your rope around once or twice, and then you tie a knot, making sure that that jute twine rope is where your E6000 is at. And there you have it. And just go ahead and set those aside and do the other 2. Remove any of that extra jute twine from the top. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add both of these pieces together but crossing them. Now if you don't have one of these rings, go ahead and you can use a frisbee from Dollar Tree as well, or even some poster board or cardboard, and just double it up and wrap it around to make a circle like this. You can even use one of those metal hanging pots, the planter holders that you can get at Dollar Tree, and just cut it in half and use that to make your mobile as well, and that would be really pretty as well. So here I am. Basically the one that I'm using to hang, as I told you, it was doubled. So just split those apart and then wrap it around to the top of your mobile once your E6000 is completely dry. Just making sure you leave the hanging part from the top of your mobile the length that you want. And just continue wrapping it around as many times as you feel comfortable. And once you're done wrapping it around, just make sure you knot it together a few times to make sure it stays nice and secure and in place. You can even add a little bit of E6000 right here when you start tying your jute twine together to make sure it stays in place. Then you grab your 5th jute twine that's going to hang down with your beads, and you just wrap it around the opposite way, add a little bit of hot glue and just knot it, and there you have your 5 ropes dangling for your mobile and the one top one. And I'm just adding some more hot glue at the top just to make sure it stays nice and secure. So now all you're going to do is basically get your jute twine and you're going to start adding your beads. So just add as many as you like to each one of your individual pieces of rope. I always add a little bit of hot glue when I'm using jute twine, and I'm going to insert it into any bead or anything like that just to give it that point at the end. So just go ahead, and it's easier. It kind of looks like a needle when you just squeeze that hot glue onto your jute twine. So just insert it, and I'm doing is a natural, a small green, a small white, and then the darker green, bigger bead, and then just continue adding any pattern you like of beads. I think this is really, really adorable. I actually really love this one. I think it's so simple, but so pretty, and so many ways that you can make this kind of mobile. And you can even use it as decor for a baby shower if you like, and just have the mother-to-be take it home with her. So, you know, that's really, if you're going to be hosting a baby shower, this is a great way to incorporate your gifts into the baby shower as well. So after I was done, I decided to go ahead and make some tassels, and I just wrapped some jute twine around my fingers about 5 to 6 times, and then just made a small tassel to hang at the end of my beads. This was just something that I thought about doing right at the end when I was actually inserting my beads already. So it wasn't something that I had planned. If not, I would have already had my tassels made. But you know, that's the way crafting is. Once you start making something, at least for me, I just start thinking, oh, this would look adorable if I added something different. So that's just one of those things that I decided to make and add at the end. So just go ahead, and if you decide to do it, make 5 tassels. And all I did was keep that long piece of jute twine. I hadn't cut it yet. And then I just knotted it where I wanted the beads to end. And then right where the knot was at, I added my tassel. Then I cut the rest of my jute twine and added just a little dot of hot glue where the bead's at to make sure it stays where my tassels are at. But again, remember, I did knot it there before I added my tassel. And there you have it. Once you're all done with all your 4 beads. So your 5th strand that you're going to have on your mobile in the center, I decided to go ahead and make that one a little bit longer. And I added a little bit more beads to that 1/5 strand of jute twine. Now you don't, I'm sorry. Now you don't necessarily have to add more beads to this strand, but I did want to make it a little bit different since it was the center one. And all I did was just add a few more beads. And I did the same thing, adding the tassel at the end. Let me know in the comments down below, what colors are you going to be making these mobiles and decorations with? Are you going to make them more of the boho style, or just make it with your traditional pink and blue colors? So once you're done adding whatever amount of beads you like, just go ahead and make a knot at the end, and then you're going to insert your tassel to that extra piece of jute twine at the end of after your knot, and then you're just going to tie a knot over your tassel in order for it to stay. Now remember to add a little bit of hot glue on your bead, your last bead, that way it can attach to your tassel and it'll stay in place. And again, don't forget, with any kind of jute twine project, just grab your lighter and lightly burn all your tassels and what have you, just for that extra finished look. And here it is, your mobile. So what do you guys think of this project? Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And if you did, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and share with friends and family. I'll truly appreciate it, and it'll help my channel grow. Until next time, you guys stay safe, stay blessed, and stay busy. Bye.